What up, boys? Hey guys, Stig here. We're doing a little EPGP breakdown for Dazed today. Why EPGP from the get-go? The reason I laugh, after much debate, fanfare, arguments, voting, we decided as EPGP as the best loot system moving forward. Reason being, this is a point-based system, and we think rewarding people for being on time, having consumables, and being at the raids is the best way to do it. You know what I mean? And what the system does, it allows people to pick their own gear. If you don't want a piece, don't try and get it. All right? Everyone can see where they're at all the time, and they know who's next in line. We'll go a little more in depth with this later, but long story short, the kind of ratio that matters is EP, which is effort points. You get EP by 3 ways: raiding, being on time, consumables, killing bosses. GP is acquired by getting gear in raid, not what you already have equipped. Getting gear in raid. You divide these two. EP divided by GP, and that equals your PR, your priority rating. All right? Priority rating is all that matters in getting gear. All right? If you have a 5 PR rating and I have a 4, you get first dibs. All right? If you say, no, I don't want it, it goes to the next person. All right? There's a lot of kind of nice little nuances to this system that really make it nice that I won't go into detail here. But if you'd like more of a full breakdown, hop in Discord, Dazed Discord. Let's pop up a little bit. There it is, EPGP loot breakdown. All right, got kind of a written guide out here, and then some questions posed by a fellow guildie. All right, please, any questions, DM them to me. Stig in game, Stig in Discord. All right, I'll answer them. If I don't know the answer, I'll find it for you. All right, the add-on we need, CEPGP. All right, we have to have it. Everyone has to have it. It's going to throw off the entire thing if you don't. It won't throw off the numbers of it, but you'll see in a minute. There's a box that pops up, kind of a new loot window that comes up every time a boss drops something in raid. All right? This is my beautiful character. Look at her. Look at that hair. That's why I picked the class, all right? Follow that around. Look at that. Stoked. Look at that. All right. So I'm showing you macros real quick so you can see it. To bring up the add-on in-game, /CEPGP show. All right? Pop that in real quick. Nothing. Perfect. Now we're going to hop over in guild. This is the guild scores for everyone in the guild, as you can see. When you're in a raid, right next to this, there'll be a raid button as well. It'll tell you what's going on in the raid. So let's go over to guild. All right, look at this. Beautiful. So we'll go to the top. Now, obviously, names here on the left. Class rank doesn't affect anything points-wise. But here's what we're looking at. EP, GP, PR. Let's take Moon, our fearless main tank. All right, rough from the get-go. EP 92, GP 20, so you divide those numbers like we talked about a second ago. His PR is 4.59. All right, now obviously we see a lot of ties here. This will happen the first couple weeks, ties. It'll just be a roll-off when there's ties. And then the second that someone gets a piece the other person doesn't, they won't match up again. So there'll be a little bit of growing pains as far as, oh, we tied for the first couple weeks, and then it won't happen ever again. Let's go down. So here, perfect example down here. So Cheesy Puff, I think he popped into the raid for the last 2 or 3 bosses on MC on Saturday. And this is all being wiped. It's all going to start from 0 on Tuesday. So everyone's on the same playing field. But he has 32 EP with his 20 GP, so 1.6. So obviously, say Moon wants a piece, and Cheesy Puff does too. Moon gets PR, or a PR. He gets a priority over that. All right, and then once Moon, so let's say EP, GP, PR, once he gets more GP, his PR gets smaller. You know what I mean? All right, so there's really nothing else we need here, but if you want to see what's going on, you can click view EPGP traffic. Ragnarok here, fearless guild leader. This just shows everything that happened to him during the raid. So if you're like, hey, I don't get these numbers, why are they like this? You can come here and check it all out. All right, let's click on over to options. Now, a bunch of numbers here. We don't have to get too in-depth. If you have kind of deep questions, feel free to ask me. But the big things, your GP formula right here, that's how gear gets a GP value. All right, I'll show you real quick on my character. Let's take the helm, for example. You see here kind of bottom left, GP value 70 on that. It's a formula of item level, rarity, few things. That's there. Slot weights as well. So this is important as well. Obviously, pieces aren't the same. So if I get a weapon, that's not the same as getting a neck, and that's factored in here, which is a great thing about EPGP as well. So let's just go top left. So headpiece, obviously better than neck. The headpiece is 1. So let's say item level wise, the GP value of an item is 50. For the head, you would get 50 GP for that item. For the neck, you would get 25 because it's only half of that. All right. Nothing else you really need to worry about. I'll click on this right here. This isn't going to look exactly the same, but when we're in raid, we'll click loot, GUI options. There's going to be a window that pops up similar, not the same, but similar to this. You're going to have 2 buttons to press: main spec, off spec, PV. Well, 3: main spec, off spec, or pass on there. So main spec costs 100% GP. That's your main spec. It's a piece of gear you want. Off spec / PvP is what it is. So if you want a 2-handed sword for PvP, we can't give these away for free because it's not fair to people who don't PvP or don't want the item. But we've done a 50% discount on them. So let's say your 2-hander would typically cost 100 GP. It would cost 50 if you're using it for PvP. Now, if you're arms warrior in raid and you're needing this for main spec, it's your main spec. And so if even if someone does like an off spec PvP and then it happens to be your main spec, if it's an accident, no big deal. We'll just fix the GP value. If someone's trying to get away with something, there's a punishment with that. So obviously you pay your 50% here, but then you'd pay another 200% on top. But that's only if someone's trying to like get away with not paying GP, and that's just mean to everyone else. So that's the only reason there's a punishment there. You know what I mean? I don't see this ever being a problem. That's about all we need on this page. Let's flip to the next one. This is a cool one. So next one's a cool one. This one's fine. This is pretty cool though right here. GP values on Tooltips. This is awesome because like I clicked in my character a second ago, I see what everything's worth as far as GP goes. Also, you got that clicked on. You can go into Atlas Loot. We're in MC here. Let's see. All right, Sorcerer's Dagger, 71 GP value. So you can kind of look ahead and see, do I spend GP here? Do I wait for this next one? How much is everything weighted? Who's ahead of me? There's kind of like fun little mini game in it too, I think. You should need to have GP values on Tooltips clicked on. That's about it. This require minimum EP. This will be in about 2-3 weeks. We'll put this in so new recruits have to be for about a raid and a half in before they're eligible for loot. You know, I mean, if everyone's passing on something, they'll take it. We'll still do that, and it'll still cost GP. But we're not going to let new people, brand new people, roll against people who've been waiting a couple weeks for an item. All right, down here at the bottom, just allow forced synchronization from rank. Do it with Guildmaster and click it on. All right, Rag's going to have kind of the head, the lead out on as far as this goes, and we want to sync up with him so we have the correct numbers. All right, next page. Here's a fun one. So here's what all the bosses in MC are worth. All right, everything's worth 10 EP up until Major Domo. All right, Domo's a little harder. Obviously, Rag's harder. Rag's worth the most. All right, Ani is still worth 12 as well because we want to incentivize people for being in there. So this is basically, look at this. This is what you can get in a week. Plus, Tuesday, Thursdays, raid starts at 7:30. Being on time, 10 EP. Having consumables, another 10 EP. So that's 20 EP on top of these values right here in the screen that we can acquire per week. A fun little note, I think that's awesome about EPGP, while you can kind of stack your EP, there's a 10% decay built in every single week. So every single week, both your EP and your GP drop down by 10%. Now it changes your PR, but it changes everyone's PR. So no one is messing up their slots, but this keeps it so someone can't sit there forever and just get EP and only get one item. You know what I mean? It incentivizes people to spend EP sooner rather than later. So you're not quote unquote wasting it. You know, the only downside of this system is if people don't want gear, the gear gets disenchanted. And so let's say it could have been an upgrade for someone. You want to incentivize people taking upgrades all the time, you know, in a perfect world. But people make their own choices, which is kind of the real nice thing about this loot system. I think that's the last page. Yep, perfect. And that's about it, boys. We truly think this system's really going to help the guild and really push us into BWL and beyond. So there will be additions to this eventually over time, and I'm sure there'll be a little bit of growing pains. Ask me, ask an officer, ask, and we'll get everything answered for you. All right, until then, see you guys in MC. Lates.